Hi, everybody, and welcome. Today, you're going to learn about 3 ways women can make extra money without getting another job and without going back to school and earning more degrees. What we're going to try and help you understand is how you can make up for lost time, rebuild wealth when life's happenings have come about, when unexpected detours, derailments happen, all your daily demands, how you can still create financial relief. I'm also going to talk about how the bottom dropped out of my health and how I kept afloat with ongoing income even when I couldn't work full time. And I want to help you get out of that endless cycle of barely getting by. It may seem like everything is great in your life, but for some reason you're still just squeaking by. And I've worked with a lot of women. I coach women from many different businesses, backgrounds. They all say the same thing. They want peace of mind. They want their own thing, time for family, time for fun, and they're looking for something different. So let's make sure you're in the right place. Who is this for? If you're sick of having that financial rug pulled out from under you one too many times, I know I have felt that way. If you are making really great money, but you still aren't getting ahead, no matter how much harder you work, you may even be making 6 or 7 figures, but you're like, why is this happening to me? I thought that had a great living, I was making plenty of money, but I still can't do the things that I want to do. Maybe you want to do some good in the world. Maybe you want to have extra money to help other people. How can you get into that? And that is what we are here talking about. So this is also for you if you're freaked out about retirement. Maybe you don't have any assets or not a lot of money that is growing somewhere for you, and I'm really glad you're here if that's you. And if you're panicked about sending kids to college and how are you going to afford all the expenses, or maybe somebody's getting married, somebody needs to buy a house, or maybe you're just like, what will I do when the kids are out of the house? I'm going to have all this time on my hands, and maybe you just want to make your own money. I've worked with many women who were doing great, executive status, and decided that they were going to stay home with their kids because it was important. And then when the kids are going off to college, you're kind of like, well, what do I do now? Just don't know where to start. I'm glad you're here, all of you guys, because I'm going to show you how you can get caught up financially, get ahead financially without getting another job, without taking some pie in the sky quick money deal. You've all heard of those things, or without making going back to school and having to get another degree. So that's my promise to you, is that today we're going to teach you some stuff. So let's get real, sister. Unfortunately, part of reality is the world we live in has stuff happen that we wish it didn't happen. Things like divorces. Careers get outsourced. This is even more of an issue now. Stuff is going online. People are losing their jobs. AI is coming. Many of us have experienced loss with the recessions, and then COVID happened and we all had to leave the office. Maybe you have school loans that are, I know people in their 60s who are still paying school loans. And, then of course there's the crazy economy. Don't even get me started. I don't know what to do with that, except for to say that we've got to figure out something on our own, because the reality is, in order to build that cushion the way that we thought that we were going to build a cushion, you have to do something different. For many of us, there's not any extra to get ahead. And then that, beep fund, the fund that's supposed to be there when the beep hits the fan, well, that needs to get built up. Or you may be stuck in a cycle of renting and not owning, and have a dream of yours being to own your own home. Well, today we're going to talk about how you can make that happen. And if you're looking at your life going, what am I doing? I can't even cut my budget by $1. I've already pared everything down, and I'm kind of tired of the cheap vacations that are not as fabulous as I want. If you guys have ever been, I remember one time I went to this motel. There were bed bugs, and walked away with rashes on my legs. It may be that you want better vacations. Maybe you want to stop clipping coupons. I have clipped a coupon in my day. I remember I used to have a folder full of coupons. And the fact is that saving $1 here and $1 there, well, It's something. It may help a little bit, but it is probably not going to get you to that place of security that you really, really want to be. So if you're feeling trapped, you're feeling like there's not a clear way out, then let's get busy and talk about some solutions for you. So the biggest problem that I see is that time is ticking. Each day you are closer to retirement, and you want to be able to retire, right? You don't want to have to work forever. You've seen what has happened to friends of yours. Yeah, and I don't have to tell you, there have been things, job losses, divorces, people having terrible health issues. And that may sound kind of gloom and doom, but you need to plan. We need that rainy day fund. We need to have residual income. I mean, I know a person who was in the picture of health, running miles every day, went and sat in the hot tub, and that was all. They didn't wake up from the hot tub. And it was a shock to their partner. It was just like, oh, how could this have happened to this person who was seemingly very healthy? And then their partner had to figure out, well, what am I going to do? So you can't really rely on that. I've got plenty of time. And I have to tell you this, the government is not going to take care of you, and you cannot rely upon that. I know so many people who are just scratching by and not able to live the way they want to because of what's happening with their retirement. And really, is Social Security even going to still be a thing is a big question. So if your stomach flips when you think about retirement, and your education's taken you wherever it's going to take you, but still you don't have that rainy day fund, or if you're paying all your bills, and you don't have anything extra, has the emergency fund been built up enough so that you could take off if you needed to for some emergency for a few months without worry? Well, if not, let me see how I can help you. So my name's Linda, and I'm a mom to fur babies and big kids. I'm a recovering conventional medicine doctor. I've gone into functional medicine, but I really had to jump off that hamster wheel. I got sick, and I had to find a way back to health. My conventional medicine toolbox was not fitting the bill, and even when I would go see a doctor personally, I was not able to find the answers until I started exploring. So I became kind of an investigator into natural health, and I tried lots of things to get better, and I finally did find something that made a huge difference for me. I started to tell people about it, and that turned into a growing business that really allowed me to take back control. I'm a free spirit. Are you guys free spirits? Because those are the kind of people I'd like to work with. But I was tired of being told what I could wear, what I couldn't wear, tired of not being able to spend time with my family. I didn't like just, punching in 9 to 5 and being told what to do and how much my time was worth. And thank goodness when I got sick that my financial butt was covered. The health issues came up. There were a couple of moves. And without a solid backup plan, my family would have suffered. So when life happens and I had to take the time off, I still had an income coming in, and I'm very thankful for that. And my goal with this presentation today is to show you ways in which women can be blessed with the same kind of security that I have been blessed with. And so let's talk about the Gen X effect, right? We've made it, we've lost it, we've started over. We are the generation that continues to reinvent ourselves. And if you're not Gen Xers, still love you. And if you're the kind of person that is looking to reinvent yourself, you're with us, right? We are not victims. We're not going to feel sorry for ourselves. We're going to think about how we can change things and what do we need to do. We want to be able to, spend time, pass the time in ways that we want to pass time. I want to spend time with my dogs. I want to be able to enjoy family time. We all want that financial safety and security. So, okay, how can you make up for that lost time? I'm going to share in the next few slides what I looked at, the different ways that I thought maybe I could get that financial security so that when I'm 65, I only have to work at the bookstore if I want to, right? I want to, if I'm going to work at the bookstore or be a Walmart greeter, I want it to be a desired profession. So, personally, after getting hit with those recessions, illness, college expenses, I realized that it was up to me. It was up to me to rebuild and secure finances. And I learned a few things. I'm going to share with you. The first thing I learned, there's two types of income. There's now money and there's residual money. And it's important that we have both kinds. So I'm also going to show you how you can make these two different ways of income. And I'm also going to give you the pros and cons of now and later money. And if you see like something that you like, something that you're interested in after you've completed this presentation, that is cool. There may be a way I can help you. So the first thing I started to look at really was investing in stocks, because I did start kind of early, and I'm like, okay, well, how can I find extra money to put into stocks? And in the long term, if it's a super long game, stocks will work, right? But when you're ready to retire, stuff can happen. And we personally lost hundreds of thousands in the stock market. And if you go back, like look at 2020, people lost a lot of money during that time. So the pros of stocks is that you can get started with just a little bit. But the thing is that if you had extra money, wouldn't you be, what would you be doing it? You have to be able to experiment with that extra money and know that if you put it in stocks, you might lose it. And so if you can get big enough with your portfolio, right, then you're going to be able to do well. So that's the pros. It doesn't take a lot of money to get started. If you get big enough, substantial dividends are going to come in eventually. And you have to know how to do this, right? So if you are not clear on how to do this, or you don't have a guide, it makes it a lot harder. I mean, there's a big risk of loss. There's a learning curve. You have to trust an advisor with your loot. And I tell you, that's hard to find somebody that you really can trust. There's certainly market volatility. It flows with politics. It flows with so many different influences, and it can suddenly all be gone. So stocks. That's stocks. It's something to think about if you have extra money. So then the next thing that I looked at was real estate. And, real estate is one of those things where also you got to have you got to have some money to get going. And you can make a lot of money, buying and selling, but it takes a big time investment. The other thing is nice about it is that it's tangible. Like if you buy real estate, you've got real estate. You own a thing. So it is a tangible asset that you will own. The cons, of course, you also, once again, you can lose your shirt. You're putting a big investment, and that for me was something that scared me. And then, most people have to, you do have to kind of go to school to learn to do real estate. And people will charge you tens of thousands of dollars to learn to do this. And you've got to find a mentor, which is difficult, like somebody you get along with that you like. And then if you manage your own properties, this is a time suck. It is a big challenge. So the third thing I looked at when I was trying to think, okay, how can I get that residual income? So it's a little bit hands off. That's what I want, something that's kind of hands off. Well, then you start to think about something like like a franchise, right? Making your own business. So there's several different kinds of businesses you might consider starting. What about a franchise? Now, it'll cost you more than $1 million to start up a big franchise like a McDonald's, and it's just, there are so many limitations. Somebody, a headhunter type person for franchises, reached out to me and said, look, I have this long catalog of franchises, all of them. And so there are a few I looked at. I investigated a little bit more deeply. And I found that the startup costs, not as big as one of the fancy franchises, but still tens of thousands of dollars. And then there are many restrictions and corporate limitations. And so that, I didn't have $100K to just drop on a franchise. And so then you think of, brick and mortar businesses. Brick and mortar businesses are a way that you can, go get a shop front, start a business. Now this I did start. I opened a medical practice, a brick and mortar medical practice. And I'm telling you, I felt like to cover rent, to cover all of the expenses, I just had to work very, very hard work. And, I never got to residual with that brick and mortar. Affiliate marketing is a way that you could do this. And I took a class for affiliate marketing through Amazon. It is challenging. There's so many working parts, and I needed something simple that would happen soon, right? So I ended up choosing a home-based business because a home-based business was the fastest and most direct way out of corporate America, out of like selling my soul in conventional medicine, because it did a lot of things that I wanted. And I don't know if you feel like me, but have you ever wished that you could clock in, clock out when you want? Have you ever wished that that your income was commensurate with how hard you worked, right? A lot of you guys are kicking tail in your jobs, and do you get raises when you work harder? Not usually, right? So I think raises whenever you want. I wanted to wear my blue jeans, right? I wanted to be comfortable, and also want to be directly helping people. I'm lucky because in my career I've been able to directly help people, but certainly I was not traveling to new places, and so those are the things that took me into considering a home-based business model. And so as the way I found my way into it is that I found this thing that helped me a bunch, helped my health, and I started to just tell people about it, and then pretty soon it was covering my house payment, and I'm like, this could be a thing. And before I knew it, the following year, they were like, hey, come on this free trip. And so I started to get to travel. I made new friends. It was incredible. I was learning new skills. I was up-leveling myself personally while I was making friends, traveling. And what that allowed me to do in a fun way was to get to spend more time with these guys. Because these are the real reason that I do what I do. I want health for my family. I want security for my family. I want to spend time with these guys. And isn't that really what it's all about? Trying to create the life that is meaningful, where we're giving back, and we're also spending time in the way we want to spend it. All right, so you might be thinking, hey, been to that rodeo before and I've gotten the consolation prize. Well, you know what? You might even say this. I know a lot of people who've tried a home-based business and it didn't work. And you are 100% right. Most people fail. Most people fail, all right? I'm being flat out straight with you. And so I don't know if this is for you or not. In fact, if you already feel like, okay, you don't even want to hear about it, it's fine, because there's some people that this works incredibly well for. The reason that this does not work well for people is because, crazy limited markets, fingernail stickers, the next exotic miracle cure, miracle CBD, nano, backflip moon juice, right? There's a bunch of crazy stuff. And, when you have a small niche audience, that also creates a problem, or a company will come in, it'll blow up, and then it'll just implode. And there are a lot of labor-intensive and unproven strategies out there that people are still doing that are not sustainable. And I have seen many companies that go under, and this is all kinds of companies. I mean, startups are notorious for this. And the fact is that most people in this type of industry, a home-based business, never get professionally trained, and that is the biggest problem, in my opinion, because this is what I do. I help coach this industry. So you have to have strategic training, simple systems, proven leadership, and the right action that is going to set you up for success so you'll have your own thing going and get it going fast. So is this for you? Well, like I said, a lot of people fail because they were not set up for success. They weren't set up to do the right thing to be successful. And this was entirely unknowing, right? Somebody was trying to help them, probably. Or maybe they just didn't meet the right person or the right business. It maybe was not the right time in life. Nobody does this on purpose and gets set up for failure, but it sure happens. But if you are interested in creating a 6-figure income or more without getting another job, without going back to school, then, without buying real estate or whatever, right? Then, you've got 2 options. You could figure it out all on your own, right? Or you can get help from somebody who has already paid the price and can help fast track you. So right now you have a choice. You've listened this far and you're probably thinking, well, what's the next steps and what do I do? So how can I help? I've set aside a little bit of time next week where I can speak with some people, a few people who are interested about fixing their current reality. It may be possible I could speak to you sooner than that. It all depends on what's going on in the next couple of days. You could potentially change this reality, or, you could choose to sort of stay stuck. It's kind of up to you. And I believe that when people are watching this presentation, they've come here for a reason. It is not happenstance. You stumbled across this. There's something within you that's asked for a change and asked for more, and you wound up here to speak with me. So there's no cost. It is free. And we're really trying to determine if this really is for you or not. If it's the right fit. So once again, who's this for? If you're committed to shaking stuff up and you want to make a big change, if this is the time for you. Now, if you don't have any spare time, well, it might even be more important for you. But this is something you have to at least make a little bit of time for. You cannot get to a big income on accident. It does not work that way. This is not a gimmick. You got to be serious about doing this the right way. And you absolutely must be willing to get your feet moving. You have to be serious about doing it the right way. When people are successful, they are excited. It's going to be your new thing, right? It's your new thing. And it is going to be like a calling to help yourself and to help other people. And so I want to ask a question, how much is this worth to you? What is it costing your sanity to stay right where you are? Is your job suffering? Is your marriage suffering? Are you yearning to be out in the world traveling? There are things you want to see, but you can't get away. There's not time. There's not money. You want to take your kids to see the world, or maybe you have debt that needs to get knocked down. Are you taking care of it the way you really want to? Or are you like, okay, someday? I've been a lucky gal, fortunate enough to, travel around, and I'm wondering, what do you see happening in your life 10 years from now? And if nothing changes, what have you missed out on, right? This certainly, a home-based business, starting your own business, it's taken a bit of a chance. It's a little chance. But if you don't take the risk and you stay in the same place, and 10 years from now, you are in the same place, let's talk about that cost. How much longer are you going to wait until you step into that life you want? I want to see you guys on the beach with me. It would be fun. So here's my thought. Let's lay out a plan where you don't have to hit your 70s and your 80s and feel insecure. If we don't fix this, there's only one shot, right? So we want to make a plan so you can be the person in charge of your time, in charge of your life, in charge of your bank account. Rise out of the ashes for good. Finally, go ahead and let's get you the results you want in your life right this second. So the next step, it's super easy. Click the button next to the video. Do you see that little button right there? Maybe it's below the video. If you're on the phone, you can click the button. It's going to take you to a place where we can ask you some questions, go back and forth a bit, do a little bit of initial discovery, see if this is right for you, if it's something you even want in your life right now. This is not a hard sell. This is just looking for the person that is the right fit. And if it's a match, I want to help you. I want you to be able to fix what's going on in your life. So this way, you're not going to have to worry about what if the market crashes? What if, I get sick? What if something happens to my spouse? If you really want to bring in income for your family and be able to take the vacations you want, now is the time. So I strongly suggest you go ahead, just click the button because it's free. It doesn't cost anything to talk with us. And let's see if this is something that might help you. All right. Thanks so much for joining me, and have a beautiful day.